Welcome back to the Bourbon Note, everybody. We're live tonight. I've got some whiskey on the bar and some negative comments and some people in the chat. Let's get into it. All right, how's everybody doing? I see we got Peter White's in the house, Sugar Kitty. Peter White is here, Jeff Castle is here. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm just getting a couple things set up here. Get the music going, get my, sharing my image files here so I can share all of these comments on the actual broadcast here. Let me see if I can open these up all at once. I don't think I can. Anyway, maybe I'll just do this as I go along. But yes, welcome everybody. Might possibly be having a couple of friends stop in. I'm not sure. That was kind of tentatively arranged last week, but we'll see. So hopefully that happens. But yeah, so tonight, by the way, I apologize for missing last week. I know it's not like you guys hang your hat on the Wednesday live stream, but you know, anytime I have to bail out at the last minute, I always feel bad. So tonight, gonna do the theme from last time, which is reading some negative comments. Let's see, I was all set up to make a comment, and then the rule popped up that I had to be civil and respectful. It's Brian from Bourbon School. Brian, feel free to hop in the live stream if you like. Brian Vaughn, Bike Riding Brian Vaughn is here. Good to see you. So we've got a Patreon giveaway as well that we're going to get into. These three bottles. I've got the new Bulleit Bottled in Bond, which everybody's kind of talking about. It's Bulleit's first soiree into doing their own distillate. So this one's pretty cool, actually. And I don't know what the availability is. So sample of that. What's up, Sid? Got the 3-chord Pinot Noir finish. I know we don't get these in Minnesota, so this was cool for me to get my hands on. So for those of you that don't have this in your area, sample of that. And then I've got the Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry. I was just joined by a dog, so come here, bud. Here, come up here and say hi. Come here. Come here. Come here. There, say hi to everybody. This is Sid. Okay. All right, hop down, bud. Anyway, so yeah, doing that tonight. That's Patreon only. And I'm doing the new... inspired by Troy and Laura at Baker Drinks. I'm going to start doing the Patreon-only drawings. I used to do it where if you've won within the last 2 drawings, you weren't eligible. But now I'm cutting out everybody who's already won, and we're just going to go through to make sure everybody wins. So tonight's Patreon-only drawing, it's only people who haven't won yet. Anybody who wants to participate, throw a $5 super chat. That's good for 1 entry. So anyway, let's get into the theme of tonight. And before I get into this, before people start leaving negative comments on this broadcast, which I'm sure they will, none of this is personal. This is just all in good fun. I don't have a lot of comments that are particularly mean, just some negative ones, and I don't get them very often. By and large, the whole whiskey community, whiskey tube community is extremely pleasant. But every once in a while I get some that are kind of, I don't know, they're negative, but they're funny to me because some of them just don't make sense. I don't get it. And so we're going to go through some of those tonight. So yeah, if you are one of the people that have left one of these comments, again, this is not personal, and I have screenshotted and blocked the name off of, so it won't say who left the negative comments. So it's honestly not people that I've ever interacted with before. So, but yeah, I think it should be fun. I get that, you know, I kind of put myself out here publicly. I leave my comment section open for people to leave comments. So, you know, I'm kind of asking for that. But when you comment publicly, then I get to do stuff like this too. So you gotta, you know, take the good with the bad if you're gonna be, oh, hold on a second. I don't want to share that yet. I'm just trying to load up a bunch of them real quick. Let's see. I know I do have at least one. Brian said he was going to hop in. Rare Barrel is here. What's up, Steve and Denise, and possibly Ben? I don't know who's all hanging out tonight, but let me see. Some of these are I don't know. I set up a whole bunch of them to have the option of displaying them, but some of them are a bit long.
That's what she said.
And so we'll just see as we go. My puppy named Orlo. Oh, that's right. Orlo wants me to tell you, Sid, that he says, "What's up?" Sid, Orlo says, "What's up?" Sid is not my dog. It's actually my grand dog. So it's my daughter's dog. So Brian, if you hop in here and I don't see you because I've got all these comments loaded up, just put it in the comments here that you're waiting. I should be able to see it. Okay, let's get to the first one. This was actually not, the first one here is not a negative comment on my my YouTube channel. This one I just thought was too funny to not share. So I did block out the name. I didn't block out the name of who it was directed to, but this was like a public whiskey community on Facebook. And so can my cats leave negative comments about the puppy? No negative comments about Sid here. So, all right, let's get into this one. Again, this was not anything that was commented on my page. I just happened to come across this while I was scrolling through, a whiskey enthusiast group on Facebook. So again, the person who left the comment has been blocked out. But let's get into it. I can't remember what this was in response to, but it says, "Sipping is for phony pretty boys who can't party anymore. I'm reading these verbatim and you can see it on the screen. I have drink bourbon since I was way too young and can't nobody in this world say it tastes amazing unless they're an alcoholic. Take a shot of the stuff, have a cigarette, and have a good time with your wife." I'm with you on the wife part. What I found hilarious about this one is like, okay, so those of us who don't party like you anymore and aren't shooting whiskey, we're just sipping it casually, we're the alcoholics. We're the alcoholics, but you who's still partying and only drinks whiskey in shot form is apparently not the alcoholic. And I'm not saying this dude is an alcoholic. I'm just saying I think that's a very, very skewed sort of take on that, just because you're sipping whiskey. I would assume the people that are sipping whiskey just for enjoyment are maybe the ones who, don't need it. So anyway, that's one. I'll try to get these going. So sometimes we get comments where I can tell it seems like the person was a little bit drunk when they were commenting, because they'll comment like multiple times in broken sentences on one particular video, like one comment thread, and it's just like, was this person drunk and has just been like, regurgitating comments? So this one was from, I can't remember what the video was, and I don't know if this is the full, all the comments, but the first one was this one. He just randomly says, "Thanks, Bert and Ernie." And then the next one says, "Oh, it's Ben and ?" So I don't even know what that means. And then this one says, "Collecting, ugh, so you don't even taste it?" Which is an interesting thing to post as a comment on a YouTube channel that literally is solely based around tasting whiskey. Like, I don't know what this guy was talking about. And plus, I can't remember what video this was, but I remember when this comment was left. This was like maybe a year ago. I went and rewatched the video, and at no point do we ever mention collecting and not tasting whiskey. And it's like, dude, there's 400 videos on the internet of me tasting whiskey. What are you talking about? And then this top one was a reply to somebody else, William Hall, actually, who maybe William Hall will show up in the chat tonight. There's an interesting thing. This is a good opportunity for me to explain something about how comments work on YouTube. When you leave a comment, like a fresh comment, it displays in my feed on when I go to the YouTube studio, because I have it set to always display any comment I haven't responded to, because then I know I'm not missing any comments. I've never not read a comment. So once you comment something and then I comment back to it, if you comment back on that, it no longer gives me that notification. It'll give you a notification in the top, but that's giving you notifications of all comment action that's happening on the channel. So say, for example, Sugar Kitty goes on and comments on one of my videos, and then somebody comments underneath that, and they start communicating. All those will show up in the notification that, hey, you have new comments, but they won't display like out front to me. So sometimes I'll miss those. And so William Hall, I think, had asked what area we were located in, and he just commented back, of course they don't answer. It's like, that's the reason why if we don't answer to something, if it's an ongoing comment thread. Also, I mean, William may not have noticed this, but it does say Buffalo, Minnesota in the logo, in the, all of our thumbnails say Buffalo, Minnesota. So anyway, so you guys, Mr. Winslow, I think, was the recipient of that comment. I blocked out the guy who made the comment, and so Mr. Winslow is not the one who you need to be upset with here. So, all right, let's get rid of that one. But yeah, I just thought this was funny because he's asking, so we don't even taste our whiskey? And it's like, dude, that's what this whole channel is based on, is nothing but tasting whiskey. Of course we freaking taste it. Also, I'm having a hard time monitoring my language. I can already tell that this is probably going to go off the rails with some swear words, so be prepared for that. Let's see, your self-thought chaos that you mentioned from time to time is pretty well organized. I think all of us that are tried and true followers can back it up. Great show, buddy. Well, thanks, Ryan Frank. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, what is this? This next one was maybe, hold on a second, I'll remove from studio. This was maybe one of my favorite comments that we've ever gotten. This was for a short that I did. By the way, the negative comments are not going to take up the whole night. Like I said, I think Brian's going to hop on here. I know Sean had mentioned last week that he might, so we'll probably get off on maybe talking about this a little bit more, but I'm going to kind of rifle through these. So this next comment was left on a short that I did, a bourbon hunting short. Excuse me. It was a bottle of Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. Now, I don't know what the allocation is for you guys where you're located around the country. It used to be hard to find, but now in Minnesota, you can pretty much get it anywhere. And at the time that I released this and this comment was left, you could literally get it anywhere, and it was $50. Just the basic thing. And so I did a bourbon hunting short stating that, because this liquor store had it for $85. And this is a $50 bottle everywhere you go in Minnesota. 50, maybe 55. But nobody's charging secondary prices for it. It's available at most liquor stores. Like, you could literally go down the block from this liquor store and buy the exact same bottle for $50. And so I was basically just saying, this seems like they're maybe just trying to catch somebody, trying to rip somebody off that maybe doesn't know that. And so this person commented, and go full screen here. Bourbon is like anything else. People put their price on it, and if you can't afford to pay it, then that doesn't make it a ripoff. That just means you can't afford to pay it. If you can find it somewhere else cheaper, then go for it. But you can't say it's someone's ripping you off because you can't afford something. That one was, yeah. That one is just, I don't even know where to begin. Hey, the main thing, Marianne is here. Bourbon Drop is here. What's happening? The main thing that I notice with a lot of these is the terrible punctuation. So I'm trying to punctuate these as I'm going. But I love the fact that, like, it just says basically they put their price on it. If you can't afford to pay it, doesn't make it a ripoff. It just means you can't afford to pay it. So my question would be, if you went into a store and they had a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 for $100, would you buy it? Or would you look at it and go, no, that's a ripoff. It's $20 next door. And if you chose not to buy it, does it mean that you can't afford it? That's the only reason you don't, like, so if you went in there and you wanted a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 and they had it for $100, you would pay that? Because if you didn't, as long as you had $100 in your pocket, you'd pay that? It's like, that's just, that's maybe the dumbest comment I've ever gotten. It's one of them. I don't know. But I just love that. I'd like to see this guy go into McDonald's and then they charge him $50 for a Big Mac and he pays it, because if he doesn't, then that just means he can't afford it. By the way, I at the time of filming this, I did have $85 to my name. So I could afford the $85 bottle. I just wasn't paying it for a bottle I can go across the street and get for 50. So I just don't understand some people's take on some of this stuff. It's just so weird. And people kind of shredded him in the comments after that, if I remember it correctly. All right, here's one that I got here's one that was kind of negative towards me. Now, here's the thing. The negative comments towards me, like most of the time they're not personal. This person actually just goes out of their way to insult me and say they don't like my channel. Those don't actually bother me because, fair enough, if you don't like my channel, I mean, I'm not going to begrudge you that. It's one of the only comments that actually makes sense, except for this one part. So this guy is blatantly copying what dozens of other bourbon channels are doing. Yawn, I find nothing he says all that insightful. So that was for, let's see what video, the Four Roses Single Barrel OBSQ. So if you don't find what I'm doing insightful and you find it boring, again, fair enough, I can't argue with that. I don't know that, like, I've never gone out of my way to like watch a video on YouTube and I don't like it and then just post, I don't like this. Just, I don't see the point in that. But what I don't get is this guy is blatantly copying what dozens of other bourbon channels are doing. So my question would be, like, if dozens of other people are doing it, am I copying all of them, but they're not copying each other? Like, they're all unique and original, but somehow I'm copying all of them? I don't know that I quite understand that. Now, that being said, I think he's right about that, but I think all, like 90% of WhiskeyTube channels all kind of do generally the same thing. We're all just putting out our particular takes on it. So he's right about that. I just didn't get the part where I'm the only one copying dozens of people. That guy must be a real big spender car shopping. That last guy, yeah, no kidding. Anybody who's trying to sell anything, let's see, I'm just going to try to go back and get some, and Myron, who does no wrong, I agree with everything he says. Marie Ann, I'm kind of with you on, with Myron. I think Myron and I are pretty much locked in on a lot of our opinions, except for Benchmark Top Floor. But we definitely break away from you and Brian on Blue Note. So I guess, that's got to mean, Marie Ann, that you like the Blue Note if you agree with Myron. So, and I'm on Team Myron on that. I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, Myron, I meant to mention this on the Whiskey 6 broadcast. You had mentioned me that I had said I got my Russell's Reserve Rare Breed uncut, unfiltered in Puerto Rico. I actually got that in Mexico. And if you're still looking for a bottle, let me know in the chat. My brother's in Spain right now. I'll send him a text and see if he can snag one at the duty free. All right, let's get rid of this one. Sean says he'll be on in a few. And the neck pour. Remove from studio. But wait, Myron, I don't know. Do you? I know you did a shout out in one of those videos to me about the neck pour. I can't remember which one it was. I'll have to give it another chance, I guess, with the Blue Note. Yeah, I think you might have to. This one was just an interesting comment. It wasn't necessarily directed at me or my content, but it was directed just at whiskey in general. Just a reminder, glorified corn water. A good toast barrel is $50. Holds more than 250 bottles of booze. That's 0.20. Storage for the barrel is about the same, 0.20. The mash itself is less than, I'm assuming he means 20 cents and 60 cents. So we're all paying what now for $1 of corn water? I don't even know what the hell this guy is talking about. I don't even know. But what I do know, folks, is that I'm very excited to bring on a special guest who's Myron is a true believer in the neck pour. All right, Myron. So Benchmark Top Shelf and the neck pour. That's all right. That's, we can all have one or two things. But I think we all agree that everybody loves Bourbon School. So let's bring on Brian.
Hey.
What's
How's it
happening,
going,
brother?
Ben?
Thanks for hopping on here.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me on. How's it going, man?
Good. Is all the audio doing all right? No echoes or anything? Because sometimes it changes when I bring somebody on if I don't have it set right.
No, it sounds good. I took a while because I was trying to get my headphones to work and they weren't pairing, and it was a big pain in the butt, but I finally figured it out. So here we are.
All right, good deal. Rare Barrel, I'm assuming Steve is running the chat here, maybe. Just had a neck pour, hanging AZ, I believe in the neck pour, but otherwise Ben is usually on point. Well, I'll take that. I appreciate it. By the way, speaking of comments here, hanging AZ, I think it was hanging AZ, pretty sure. I apologize if I'm wrong about this. Left a comment on one of my bourbon hunting shorts the other day that said, I've watched so much of your content, I'm starting to say BAM when I see a bottle on the shelf. I was like, that was the first time I truly felt like I was finally making a difference after a couple of years of doing this.
That's right. You've touched Hanging AZ's life.
Yes, I have. That could have gone in a very different direction there. So I appreciate you keeping it on the rails.
Yeah, we're in the first hour here, so I'll keep it PG.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think of this comment? Like, I don't even know what the hell this guy's talking about. Is he implying that this is the price that it costs to make whiskey? That a toast barrel is $50? That's what the distilleries pay for them?
Corn water. This person does not know what they're talking about. I don't know. I mean, you're not taking into account the time and all of the, I don't believe for a minute that 20 cents for a barrel, or 20 cents worth is a bottle. Like that's crazy.
No, that's ridiculous. Because then what would the profit on that be?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think their profit margins are that freaking high.
No.
And then the storage for the barrel is about 20 cents. 20 cents, what? A month?
Yeah,
a
right.
Day, a year?
No, it's 20 cents for the entire, 6 to 8 years that it ages. That's what I'm getting out of this, with no context.
That's kind of what
involved. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what he's implying, because he's saying, so we're all paying what now for $1's worth of corn water? So you do the mashing process, and then the mash itself is, he says less than 60, but to make it an even dollar. So the mash costs 60 cents for one full run of whiskey? No. And then you age it. So it costs $1 to make an 6 to 10 year bourbon.
Yeah, and you still haven't paid anybody to do it. You still haven't, paid to transport it or anything. This person, I would say this person is not a math or business major.
No, probably not. Yeah, you're not counting employees. You're not counting running your facility, the massive expense of running a facility on that level.
Right. And Myron said paying the taxes on it too. Because, a liquor company, they get taxed pretty heavily. So.
Oh, yeah. Let me bring up a couple more here. I'm just going to load up a couple more. These are all image files. So I like the new thing on StreamYard here, where you can now share video files and image files right off of your desktop.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it straightened out yet, because if I try to share a video file off of my desktop versus loading it up into StreamYard, it echoes. But if I load it into StreamYard, I'm limited on how big the file can be.
Yeah, Sugar Kitty, he says, yes, that seems to be exactly the point, but I think it's also the difference between two different bottles. I think, if you're talking about a bottle of Kentucky Gentleman, then maybe you're close.
Yeah.
But not a good bottle of bourbon. Come on.
No, that's ridiculous. I don't think they're making that. I don't think it costs them $1 to make a bottle of whiskey.
Now, I would be interested to see what it does cost them, because I'm sure, we are paying a premium, especially with the boom that was in bourbon the last decade. But, it's probably not that ridiculous.
Rare barrel. I just copied the bourbon note. Well, now now you're copying me and the dozens that I'm copying, Steve. So Bourbon Jerk is here. Cheers, Tom.
What's up, Tom?
Hangin' AZ says Bourbon Drop got me hooked on the Jim Beam Black Label. I blame him. All right, Myron, you're on the hook for that. I wasn't too into that bottle.
You know what?
I didn't mind it the more I got into it, but
all those. I just did a bottle kill video today, and one of the kills was the Jim Beam Winter Reserve. And
yeah, I watched that, by the way.
I get so excited for these Jim Beam bottles because they sound so great. Like I've had the double oak, I've had the black, or in the what was it, the 7-year, the one that came out last year. Like I've had all these bottles, and I think, okay, this is going to be the Jim Beam that makes me a believer. And every single one is a disappointment. They're just fine.
I don't like their budget stuff quite as much. But I mean, like the Winter Reserve, it was what it was. It was 86 proof, $20 bottle. I mean, so they're good at putting those bottles out, but
yes, exactly.
We've got Sean here in the middle of his dinner, getting ready to hop on. Let's bring out from Mash and Metal and Whiskey Whores, Sean, everybody.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
I apologize. I'm not in full costume right now.
I thought something looked different.
That last comment was so stupid. I had to hop on early. Yeah, I don't know where this person is getting any of their information. I think he just pulled out random numbers out of his ass. Yeah. Because none of that sounds legit at all.
He's basically saying, so the toasted barrel costs $50, which is bullshit. It holds more than 250 bottles of booze. That's what it's maybe. Well, a barrel doesn't. Oh, yeah, maybe 250 bottles. But then you got to think Angels share over time, so you're not getting 250 out of there unless you're watering it down.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, so let's just say the $50 for the barrel, and then so $250 if he's saying it costs $1 per bottle. So basically, an entire run of bourbon, a full barrel, cost them $300.
No.
Yeah, there's
no way.
For the entire aging process of it and everything and all the, I just don't think so. That can't be right.
As they say, the math ain't mathin'.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have bought used barrels, not new charred barrels that haven't been used. I've bought used barrels for $60, and that was a good deal.
Yeah.
So,
I see them pretty consistently for $100, and that's somebody who bought it off the distillery and paid probably half that. So the distillery is selling their used barrels for that much. There's no way they're getting brand new barrels for $50.
No, definitely not.
Well, and granted, they're buying everything in bulk. I get that. But the amount that it takes to, I don't get it. Let's check some comments here. There's a link. Sugar Kitty dropping the links. Funniest comment I ever saw was on Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. Some guy scolded him for wearing a ball cap with a polo shirt. That is weird.
Can we now solo Sean after that comment? As he wears his baseball cap and polo shirt.
That's
I don't
true.
know I don't know if Hangin put that up right when you came in on purpose, but it was I looked at you after I read the comment. I was like, is he?
Yeah, that's right. He is wearing a polo shirt.
Man, this is what I wear to work every day. These are work clothes.
Here come the comments, Sean. You're about to get scolded.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Well, I hope the guy who commented that is not in the chat tonight. Otherwise, Sean's going to get lit up. I can't believe Ben gets any negative comments. Well, thank you, Tom. That's very nice of you.
Well, and clearly that guy doesn't play golf because that is the standard golf uniform: polo shirt and a cap.
That's what this. Yeah, I mean, all my work shirts are just used golf shirts that I get at Goodwill or there's a place local. I'm not going to pay good money for shirts I'm going to ruin.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, I when you put up this topic, Ben, I was like, I want to go back and look through comments, and I gotta say, and this is not a reflection on us in a positive way. I think it's because we don't really stir up any shit. we don't get a lot of negative comments. We've gotten a couple like, "Oh, you guys are amateurs. You don't know what you're talking about."
I got one for you.
Yeah,
which is true. I mean, I own that. But I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it here. The most wounding comments that I've gotten, and I've gotten 3 of them now.
This has happened. I know what it is. 3 times now.
3 times now, I have gotten comments to the effect of, "It's nice to see that you and your father can share this together." And it's usually when I do a video with Lauren, and they imply that she's my daughter. So that's been one I've gotten more than once, and it hurts every damn time.
That's awesome.
Ben, I don't know if you would like me to. I don't know. Well, okay. Let me preface it. The one I would like to share is in my held section. So if you understand what the held section is. So
I do. And actually, I haven't checked my held section in a while. Non-bike riding Dave Vogel saying, "And biking bourbon." Oh, damn. It's the Jets versus the Sharks in the chat tonight. Sean, can you, is it something that involves language that maybe...
It's spicy.
Nice.
Okay. Is it swear words, or does it get like racial stuff or homophobic stuff?
It's not racial or homophobic.
Okay.
I mean,
it's just swear words.
It's gross, is what it is.
Oh, okay. Can you text it to me, and then I'll see.
Okay. I'll take a picture of my screen, and I'll send it to you. You can decide. Oh well, no, I can't do that. My phone's dead. Okay. Give me a second. I'll send you a screenshot from my computer.
I mean, as long as it's probably not, it's probably nothing you can't say. I just want to get anything like controversial, like
it involves human fluids.
Oh. Okay.
Right, bring it. I say bring it. It's not my stream though. Did you see Rare Barrel's comment?
Where is that pepperoni pizza from?
It's Domino's, but it's their New York style, and I always ask them to cook it well done, which is just regular done for normal people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's...
So, see, I don't... Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if that comment, how accurate Rare Barrel's comment is, or how accurate Heaven Hill is when they say that, but I do know these guys get taxed like crazy. So...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's got to be insane the amount of taxes they pay. So you'll have to excuse me. We went and did our taxes today. So I'm in full Ron Swanson mode today. I am totally anti-tax today. So
agreed on that.
Bobby's here. Bad Axe Bourbon.
What's up, Bobby?
Let's see. What was this comment?
Okay.
I know I'm missing some comments here because people are very much interacting with this one, which is nice. I remember a comment on one of my first videos was, "I guess they let anyone have a bourbon channel nowadays," and I just thought that was dumb because yes, anyone can have it. Yeah, anyone can have one.
I've literally got an almost identical comment.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that, like, did you just send this, Sean?
I did. Yeah, it's in your email. So I'll let you decide what to do with it.
Sugar Kitty
you could say that.
Sugar Kitty feels my residual pain. What hurts me more is that Bourbon School gets father-daughter comments, and he's over 15 years younger than I am. I feel it, Sugar Kitty. I feel it because Lauren is 15 years younger than me. So,
well, if it makes you feel any better, I am a grandfather, the only grandfather on the stream.
You are. That's exciting, though.
As of the other day, I can say this publicly. Will be a grandfather of 2 in November.
Hey, congratulations. Yeah. Cheers.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. Being a grandpa is the best. I love it.
There you go, Ben. There's the comment to share should you want to.
My parents loved it. It's like you get all the benefits and then you can hand the kid back over. Like very little of your responsibility. Yeah.
Let me see if I can go. All right. So somebody commented this to Sean. Do you remember what it was that you were drinking?
Yeah, so this was on my first ever bourbon review, which was Jim Beam. And I still...
This is your first ever?
Yeah, but first ever video, which surprisingly, that video has done well, even though it's awful. But yeah, so this is just standard white label Jim Beam was what the review was about, which I was pretty open about not liking, which I stand by still to this day. And this was the reply that I got.
Somebody commented this.
Yeah. Too much jizz on your palate, it seems.
Oh, here's the comment down here. Okay.
Like,
wow.
Well,
Sean, in fairness, I mean...
You know what's weird to me about that is the implication that you went into a bourbon review with it still on your palate. I mean, that's just unprofessional.
Also, I honestly have a lot of questions. Is there a right amount of jizz? Like, is there a certain amount that's acceptable?
I would say this commenter knows the exact amount of jizz you should have on your palate.
But apparently I had too much. So
yeah, you had too much.
I hit the limit.
That's hilarious. And I love that that they gave you this comment. You know what's funny? This is only... Okay, I'm trying to remove it from the screen. There we go. They gave you that comment because you didn't have a favorable tasting of Jim Beam White Label.
Yeah.
I say, who goes that hard in the paint defending Jim Beam White Label?
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Says congratulations. Piper John, spoil them rotten and give them back. I've got this spoiling rotten down with my granddaughter. I have a hard time giving her back.
My parents were really good at that. When our kids were babies, they were exceptional at that move.
Hang on a second.
So while you're looking, I've got an idea for either just one of our streams or even a Whiskey 6. We should all play and critique our very first videos ever.
Oh yeah, I like that.
That would be funny.
My early ones are awful.
Sugar Kitty, the one single comment all night that has none of us even questioning is Sean's. Sugar Kitty, shots fired. Oh my God.
He's an asshole, sir.
That was on your behalf, Sean.
Love you.
Wow.
Sugar Kitty wins the comment section tonight.
Yeah.
Hands down, wins the comment section. All right, let's get to another negative comment. So this is so the reason I have all these kind of curated like this is anytime I get a negative comment like that, I always just screenshot it for the purpose of doing something, because I thought it'd be fun to do something like this, one night. And I've been meaning to do it for a while, and so I went back through all my screenshots to get all of these, and I noticed when I was going through and blocking out the name of the commenter, because again, this is all in good fun. This isn't me being angry that somebody left a negative comment. It's just fun to do this. I noticed there was one guy who left 2 negative comments, and they were like many months apart, and one of them was on my last live stream. And so let's get to him. A while ago, do you remember when I did that stupid video of it, which was intentionally meant to be stupid, by the way, where it was my whiskey hack and it was how to get rid of the neck pour. And so I poured the neck pour out, and then I poured the entire bottle out, and I poured the neck pour into the bottom, making it the ass pour, and then poured the rest of the bottle back in. Did you guys see that one?
I
did not see that.
Obviously a joke. Like, obviously just being stupid, because the neck pour had come up, in a previous live stream or video or something like that. So I did this stupid video where, like, I've got the ultimate hack to get rid of the neck pour forever. I did a fresh crack on a bottle. I poured out the neck pour. Then I dumped the bottle out into a bowl with a spout. Then I poured the neck pour into the bottom and filled it back up. That was the joke. And so this guy, I don't know if he took it seriously or just thought my joke was stupid, but it says, embarrassing, these channels are getting desperate or dying. And it's like, dude, just take a joke. It's
seriously.
I think it's funny, like, I'm not offended by these comments, but I just wonder, like, putting the effort into making the comment of, like, I need to make sure that I let this person know that this was dumb. Like, and so this is one of the few, because I don't comment back on them, but this is one of the few that I did, and I just said, or I'm just having an inside joke with my audience, because my general audience knows the whole neck pour thing. It's been commented about tonight in the chat. Everybody knows that about me. So everybody that watches my channel got the joke.
And that's the thing. Like we've gotten comments where it's like, well, you guys are amateurs, or like I can't believe you. I don't know. They just, there's comments that obviously are from people who don't watch consistently and don't know like things we've said in the past or kind of what our point of view is, and that's the same with you. I mean, obviously, if you watch the Bourbon Note, you know about the neck pour. So like that stuff bothers me because it's like, okay, don't take yourself too seriously there, Slugger. It's a freaking joke, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
the thing is too that,
just by the nature of what we're doing, we're all amateurs, like even the big channels, because none of us are actually in the whiskey business. Well,
Sean, it's great. It's great that you brought that up.
Sorry now. Yeah.
It's great that you brought that up because this is the same guy made this comment on my last live stream. So this is months later. Apparently after the embarrassing Getting Desperate or Dying, he still continued to watch my show for some reason, which is fine. I mean, I'm happy to have anybody watching my show. I hope
just
it brings some enjoyment.
You,
apparently, yeah, just to hate on me. This was a comment on last week's live stream where, or not last week's, but the week before, where I was drinking the 3 Jim Beam Harvest Collection. And I said one of them was weak, and I remembered one of them was weak from when we reviewed them. And he commented about the one that I said, by the way, before I get into this, Tom said it's my wife's burner account. She's leaving me the mean comments. That would be hilarious to find out. It's just my wife. The thing is that my wife would have to watch this show in order to leave the comments, and she has never watched an episode once.
Well, clearly that
and I
person
mean that
doesn't
literally.
watch the show.
Baker Drinks is here. Not sure how many times people comment telling us we're alcoholics. All right, so here's that same guy again. Oh, go ahead before I bring it up.
I was just going to say, I have gotten a few that are like, you need Jesus kind of comments because they're like, you shouldn't be drinking and you need Jesus and stuff. Like we've gotten that a few times.
God, I've never gotten one of those.
Slow your roll. I'm good. Like that stuff I can't stand. Hello, Baker Drinks, by the way. How you guys doing?
Yeah, that happened early in my live stream career. And then, then you just kind of like own it. Kind of like Eminem, how he just shut down his opponents by just saying all the things they were going to say. If you just say you're an alcoholic, then it takes the ammo away. But also,
Sean starts all of his videos with, hello, my name is Sean.
I'm an alcoholic. Let's fucking drink.
Dr. Brent 22, it's not a burner, it's your wife's boyfriend. Damn.
Jesus. Wow.
Add that. Add that to the list of comments.
I know, I was going to say. Here's the next negative comment from, Oh, nope, now it's gone. Okay, so.
Yep.
Also, Jesus' first miracle was literally water into wine. So
that's true.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be showing your daughter how to drink bourbon, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Myron. Thanks for just rubbing a little salt in the wound there, buddy.
They got scripture in the comments this week as well. I have never gotten that yet.
Yeah, we've gotten the whole.
All right, let's get to this comment.
Got some Baptists.
They want to save your soul. Yep.
Why are they?
All right, so this one. This is the same guy. So I commented on the 3 Jim Beam crafts. I said one of them came in weak on the proof. I'll read this out loud for people that are just listening. It starts out nice. He's like, I found the Jim Beam 11-year rolled out here in Seattle 2 years ago for $16 a bottle. Grabbed 2 bottles. I should have bought the 6 sitting on the shelf. Totally agree. And then it goes, what the F? You say it has the flavor but not the proof. Jesus H. Christ, please, please, please stop the proof hound crap so many of you preach. These so-called whiskey tube experts know better than all the bourbon whiskey distillers? Yeah, okay, we got it. These YouTubers are the experts. Before you jump in, let me get my jabs in here on this one first.
Okay.
You say it has the flavor but not the proof. That's a perfectly valid statement because when you proof something down, you're watering down the flavors as well. The ethanol doesn't add flavor, but the water does take away flavor.
Yes.
Please stop the proof hound crap so many of you preach. We're just giving our opinions. I happen to like stuff at a above a certain proof. By the way, I was drinking 3 90 proof bourbons, and I only said this about one of them. So the other 2 were just fine at 90 proof. And, certainly this guy has... He's obviously got some level of proof that he likes. It's like, otherwise, I mean, if I hand you a bottle of 80 proof whiskey and then I pour 2 ounces of water in it, water it down to 50 proof, are you going to enjoy it? And if you do, are you a proof hound? And then, plus, I've seen this type of comment on a lot of other channels, and other channels have talked about this, how people will say, oh, people just call us proof hounds. And it's like, okay, but on the flip side, if you said you like 90 proof stuff, then people would call you a 90 proof hound. It's like, so what's the difference? Like, it just so happens that most people like their stuff at a higher proof. We're not preaching anything. And then it says, yeah, so these so-called YouTube experts know better than all the bourbon whiskey distillers. Yeah, okay. It's like, hey, man, the same people who make the low-proof stuff also make the high-proof stuff.
Yeah. That's
same whiskey distiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they put out barrels even.
Yeah. Yeah, and they charge a hell of a lot more for the high proof stuff. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. If you like an 80 proof bourbon, good for you. I wish I did, because then I would buy far less expensive bottles.
Well, also, I mean, it should be noted that all of the flavored whiskey is also made by the same distilleries, but because they're trying to appeal to everyone. They want something for everyone. That's the goal. So it has nothing to do with, but like just probably I would say my biggest point is I don't know anyone that has drank whiskey for any length of time that prefers low proof now. Like if you've been drinking whiskey regularly for 2 or 3 years, minimum, then you generally prefer a higher proof because you understand there's just more things going on there.
Yeah, for sure. It's objectively true. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to like it, but it's going to be more complex. Again, like, make some Kool-Aid tonight and put, an extra 10 ounces of water than the recipe says. It's going to taste watered down. Whiskey works the same way. And then I love these so-called YouTube experts who I have been in this game for 4 years now on this channel and watching Whiskey Tube for a couple years before that. I have never heard anyone refer to a Whiskey Tube channel as experts or heard anybody refer to themselves as experts. And you just said before I put this comment up, Sean, that like we're just amateurs like anybody else.
Yeah.
We're just having a conversation online.
None of us are distilling whiskey really start to finish. So
well, and does this guy think like the distillers are like, oh shit, Ben from the Bourbon Note and Sean from Whiskey Wars said they prefer higher proof, so just stop making all that 90 proof crap. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, like, even though it's not my thing, I still respect that there's a large market for it.
And the other thing is, I've said a million times on this channel, I love finding a low proof bourbon that has good flavor. Like, there are 90 proof bourbons I really like. I prefer those for when I'm going to be hanging out having a few drinks. I don't drink cask strength bangers if I'm going to sit and drink for a couple hours or something. Like, the amount of like budget 90 proofers like that I've promoted on this channel has been a ton of them.
Yeah, that's why this was kind of a cool find, because it was is quite flavorful for the proof point. So, those are, to Ben's point, a rare find.
Yeah.
Elijah Craig at 94. I love that bourbon. I love Eagle Rare. I know not everybody does. I love Eagle Rare at 90 proof.
If I would say if somebody wants like a starter bourbon under 100 proof, I would say Elijah Craig is it. I mean, that's probably the one I recommend the most.
I think I
like regular Woodford, a regular Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
If I'm at a bar and that's all they have and I want a bourbon, I'll gladly grab a pour of that.
Yep. There still has not been like all these weeders that come out, like the Penelope weeded and the Green River weeded. They're all fine, and they're cheap. They're right around the same price point as a Maker's Mark. None of them are as good as Maker's Mark. For me, like Maker's Mark's got this richer flavor. They just do it right, And so I'm right with you on Maker's Mark. Like I do enjoy it still as a starter pour. Like I want something lighter, like you said.
Yeah, like my wife and I sat in the garage. It was nice on this last Friday night. It's dog shit here now, but it was nice. So we sat out there in the Brown Tree. Some of you know about the Brown Tree. It's our bar out in the garage. And, we just sat and had a few drinks. It was just the two of us, so we kind of had an evening of having a few cocktails, catching a little buzz. It was a lot of fun. And so for that, like I had Old Forester 100, but I wasn't gonna go any higher than that in proof because I want to sit and have a couple throughout the night of hanging out and whatever. Sugar Kitty says, Lord Jesus, please be with Ben tonight as he has to drink Malort and 120 proof whiskey. He needs the Lord more than we know. Well, I'm only drinking 100 proof on this one, and I do have a couple of mini bottles of Malort that I thought would be fun to have on hand in case we want to do like a torture drink some night. But also Peter White for sure. Russell's 10. I love Russell's 10 at 90 proof.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's going up though. I mean, I see it creeping up over $50 now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still seeing it for 35 all over here. Baconator is here. What's happening?
New York.
Yeah. By the way, before I forget, Brian, I was going to comment this on your video that I watched today, but I was driving, just listening to the audio of it, and then I was going to text you. You had mentioned the Grizzly Beast that you guys, Marianne loves that, and you guys, I don't know if that's available. From what I remember, I don't know if it still is, but like I was seeing that everywhere around here. I don't remember what the price was, but I think it was pretty average. So if you're ever looking for one of those, let me know and I can probably snag one. Okay. Also, you had said if you get a chance to buy E.H. Taylor small batch, you wouldn't buy it again. I love E.H. Taylor small batch. So if you ever find one of those at retail or at like under $60,
okay, I was going to say
retail. You don't have a need for it. Pick it up, and I will pay for the hand delivery and the bottle.
I've got one right there if you want to trade for something. It's right there. It's unopened.
Sure, but I don't know what I have to trade because I don't have anything that's unopened.
Also, Baconator, you asked who doesn't love Eagle Rare. I would raise my hand to that question.
I think
I'll tell you what, if you have an Old Forester 100 pick around you, Ben, I'd trade for that.
What's that?
I said, if you have an Old Forester 100 pick around you, I would trade for that.
I had one bottle of it once, and I've never seen it since.
Those are hard.
I was going to send you a picture today, too. I found another bottle of the Nassif Family Reserve Hy-Vee store pick finished in, but this one was like port barrels, and I don't know if this is a different one than the one I sent you, but I remember you liked that one.
Yes, the one you sent me was port finished.
It was, okay. I found more of that today, and I was like, is this the same thing?
That was great. That was a great bottle. We almost finished that in one night. Like, that was a really good bottle.
Yeah, I haven't had any of the finished stuff, but let me know any other stuff that you're looking for that we might have here that you don't, Brian.
Yeah.
That if you want to trade, and then...
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see.
Hey, Ben,
here's something about this.
Ryan Frank asked a question earlier. He said, who's the most famous person of any of the three, I'm guessing he means of you, have ever come in human contact with, explain, and what do you think they thought of you? Do you mean just in whiskey, Ryan, or just like in general? And like, how much contact are we talking about? Like a handshake or like a conversation?
I would say just maybe that is just the most famous person you've met.
I
would say...
Go ahead, Ben.
If you're going by just notoriety and fame, Bill Clinton.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Mine is probably Johnny Cash.
You met Johnny Cash?
I did.
How are we just figuring out about this?
Yeah, how do we... What?
I have a ticket stub signed by Johnny Cash. So back when that first American Recordings album came out, the first Rick Rubin album, we have this little theater up in Niagara County. It's called Melody Fair. It's a round theater, and it's got a stage that turns. And he played at Melody Theater. I mean, it's less than 1,000 people.
Oh my God.
And played,
we
waited out back. 91 or 92 maybe 94. I'd have to look at the ticket stub, but so we waited out back, and he came out and signed my ticket stub. He was super nice. You could tell he was overwhelmed because the people, like, it was mostly teenagers, because that album was huge with like Gen X, so we were all like teenagers and 20-somethings, and he was like, holy shit, but he was super nice. And then my brother-in-law, like a couple weeks later, saw him somewhere else and got a guitar signed by him.
Oh,
so yeah, I absolutely love Johnny Cash.
I don't even want to say mine now. I mean, because it's not that cool. Like it's all right, but your experience is way better.
Yeah, it was cool.
So I met DMX 2 different times, and he was just as out of control as you would imagine.
Nice.
He was awesome.
Is this in your Florida days?
Yeah. So
Nice.
he played a couple different festivals down in Florida, and I got to shake his hand one time, and I was just I got a picture with him a different time. But I mean, it wasn't like a conversation. As far as in whiskey though, I've got to have drinks with Freddie from Buffalo Trace, the guy that does all the tours.
Yeah.
And then I've got to have drinks with Brian Teresi, used to a former Sagamore. Now he's kind of doing his different thing, but yeah. So
the most famous.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to have drinks with Brian Fabiano too.
That's what I was going to say.
That's also true. Yeah. Well,
that's the most famous whiskey person I've met is Sean from Whiskey Wars.
Well, that is the low part.
Sean, you will appreciate this, but before we get off of this subject, I have met the original entire Pantera. Ooh. And I had a couple of things. It was they were on tour, and they did an autograph signing at this place we used to go to. It was a record store, and they had it was shortly after the 101 proof. What was it called, Sean? 101 proof live something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. So Blacktooth Grin. Are we talking drinks or the? Because you broke up there for a second as well. It went all robot-y.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going a little robot-y on my screen. And okay, maybe actually both of you guys are now, so maybe it's me.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. It might be me. So you were saying, and then it kind of broke up there, so I wasn't sure what you said.
I said I had met all of Pantera, the original lineup. And I had to. It was when they were on tour live, but they had released the live album for the the 101 proof live. Remember, the cover of it kind of looked like a Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
And so I had 2 of those signed by the entire band, and then I had a guitar pick signed by Dimebag.
That's pretty jealous of that. That's pretty awesome. Cool. The Dime was my dude, man. I don't have any of that stuff anymore, but
that is all right. Let's get to a couple more comments. Well, I gave one to a friend of mine, and then I think I gave the other signed thing and the pick to my buddy's kid. He got super into metal when he was 12, 13 years old. Started playing guitar and stuff. Ended up being a really good guitar player. But I gave those to him because he thought that was just the coolest thing.
You're a very generous man. So, I would never have parted with those things.
I think that's where they went anyway. I think that's where the pick went for sure.
Yeah.
If I ever find the pick, I'll send it to you, Sean.
Okay. All
right, so somebody posted this on my my E.H. Taylor straight rye. So this is 2 different comments. First one, don't be a dick when it comes to reviewing. This is a good, not great rye. Don't judge this bottle on every other bottle. Do your job on YouTube review. So I don't know exactly what my job on YouTube review is. Well, I can tell you what it is. It's whatever the hell I want it to be because it's my freaking channel.
Yeah.
So there's that. And B, what do you mean don't compare it to other bottles? That kind of has...
that's literally what we're doing all of the time.
Yeah, that's relevant. And so I want to play a video clip here real quick. I've got a couple of clips that I did load up here so I could play them. So this is, so he says, don't be a dick when it comes to reviewing. This is good, not great. I want to comment and show you a video clip specifically on that because he's right. I was kind of a dick when I said this. I thought this was good. I didn't think it was great, but I figured I'd, grab a bottle while I had the chance.
Oh, imagine that.
completely out of pocket, Ben. What is wrong with you?
This is good, not great. And then I had made a comment about the secondary market, and I had said, don't pay secondary prices for this, because I always say that. It's like, I don't want people to get ripped off. I want to give people an honest thing, like, this isn't worth secondary prices if you're just looking for the taste of the whiskey. And he said, by the way, most of us have to pay secondary price for this bottle or we'll never have a chance to try it. Be respectful to everyone. I think it would be very disrespectful if I said, yeah, I think this is worth secondary prices when I don't think it is. But here's a clip of what I said about this is me being such an asshole about secondary prices. And I wouldn't pay secondary prices for any bottle. I really don't like to participate in that. But this, if you're buying this just for the whiskey inside, don't pay secondary prices for this. This is definitely not worth spending. If you want to spend a little extra money because you just want to, complete your E.H. Taylor collection or whatever, hey, it's your money. You do what you want with it. But if you're buying it just because you're expecting this to be, the rye that's going to knock your socks off because it's allocated and it's from Buffalo Trace, it's not that. But it is just a really good, well-balanced, right down the middle rye. But to be honest, there's just really nothing special about it either.
Dick.
Yeah, I
tell you, terrible person.
You know what, Brian? And he needs to become the Whiskey 5 after that. That is so out of line.
Ben Walker is canceled for being a dick.
For being a dick, exactly.
That's like the most even keel comment you could make. I mean, it's informative, which is that is your job actually, is being informative.
No, Ben, your job is to do hot takes and be an a-hole to everybody.
I hope whoever this person is, I hope he never sees my reviews because he will really not like those.
That was a little mean.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, what are you talking about? This is a really quick one. I put up a short the other day that was, it was a meme. It said, coming home from the allocated drop like, and it was Alanis Morissette playing that song that starts out, it goes, I'm broke, but I'm happy. And then it just cuts off. It was one of those memes. So it was literally just said, coming home from the allocated drop like, and then it was her playing that, and it just said, I'm broke, but I'm happy. Clearly just a fun meme. And then the guy's like, stop being taters. That's why this all started. It's like,
honestly, I'm more upset about the Alanis Morissette thing than the other stuff.
I thought you might be, Sean. But it's like,
confirmed.
Yeah, and if you're interested in going to going to an allocated drop is not going to a raffle or something. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I agree with this guy if he's talking about the secondary, but this shouldn't affect him because he's not interested in these bottles. Because if he was interested in these bottles, I guess that kind of makes him a tater too by his own rationale.
Right.
So that's what I love about some of these comments is some of them are just like, what? You just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well,
and then I think I've got...
so damn seriously. Like, guys, like
this
is for entertainment. If it's not entertaining for you, then by all means, tune out. Like, that's fine. But, like, don't be a dick. That's a low bar, too. Like, saying to people, don't be a dick is a low bar to get over. And some of these people can't get over it.
Well, I've said many times. I know you're trying to get to another thing here, Ben, so I'll be brief. But I've said many times.
No, go ahead, because I'm actually looking for it.
When I first got into this community, I had assumed that the whiskey guys I would meet doing this were like the whiskey guys I've known all my life, which are kind of roughneck guys. I mean, just generally, all the whiskey guys I knew growing up, that's kind of how they were. So I expected people to have thick skin going into this community. Ends up, as Ben is pointing out, that is not the case. Ends up that even snowflakes and fairies can drink whiskey. So
there's some pretty bitch-made people out there. That's for sure.
And AZ, to your question, sir, yes, I got a lot of mean comments on my Woodinville review. I actually took it down, not because of the mean comments. I took it down because it was actually affecting the channel negatively because I got so many downvotes. Fun fact.
What were people so pissed about your Woodinville?
Oh, I completely shit on it. I basically said it was the worst whiskey I've ever had in my life, and I still stand by that. It's still up there. It's top 10. It's awful. Yeah.
But what? Like, I don't get why people are so mad about that. Is there just
it's like
contingency of ride or die Woodinville fans? That
apparently you'd be surprised. There were a lot of very upset people.
they're quiet, but they're plentiful. Then.
Yeah,
the Woodinville gang.
You have to remember, that's up there in the Northwest, and there's a lot of people with purple hair and a lot of feelings up that way. So,
looking at you, Baker Drinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Troy and Laura with their purple hair and feelings.
The feelings is really the biggest problem, honestly.
Yeah, I think that one thing I've noticed in doing this, and I mean, we could do an entire hour on just talking about this, like people's expectations of your channel and people's what we've kind of like seen from our end of things, like being on the receiving end of comments. One thing I've noticed is that I think some people are offended in a way. I'm sorry, by the way, I have not been keeping up with comments because I've been doing behind the scenes stuff to get this some other comments loaded. But I found that some people, they kind of look at whiskey as their hobby, like this is my thing.
Oh yeah.
And so when they see you doing something that they disagree with, it's almost like they take it personally. And then I think some people this is just a guess. This is just the vibe I get from some people. And then I think some people maybe take that same energy and project it onto you, where they go, oh, well, this guy's started a YouTube channel. He must think that he just owns the hobby of whiskey and knows everything. And,
right.
And really it's more about what we're doing right here. And it's more about, relationships with people that comment and getting to know people and
because they are somewhat ill-informed that there is an entire community of people doing this. So we're just one opinion, and I don't think anyone I've ever met views their opinion as being superior to anyone else's. It's just like, this is my opinion on a thing.
I just want to recognize Hangin' AZ for the Letterkenny reference. Cheers to you, brother. I like it.
Cheers, buddy.
Anybody watch Letterkenny?
I have not seen that. I know that's one that
it's been mentioned to me several times because apparently I often say, to be fair. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah.
To be fair. And that's what Hangin' AZ said. To be fair. It's a great show. I highly recommend it to everybody out there. It is so much fun. It's great. Sean, you would love it because the main characters, like in this little town, it's like the degens who are like the druggies and all that, and the techno kids. And then there's like the jocks who are the hockey players, and then the hicks who are the farmers. And like it is like it's a great show. I think you would love it. And Ben, I think you'd love it.
Is that the Canadian one?
Yes.
I believe it is, yes.
Yes. He's from just Ontario, and it's funny because, well, I'll get into it another time. It's a great show, though. It's really good.
By the way, in a couple minutes here, I'm going to do the raffle for these samples. If you do want to get in on it, it's a $5 super chat for one entry per $5. Otherwise, Patreon supporters are automatically entered into the drawing at whatever tier they're supporters. I am doing the thing with Patreon now where I took a cue from Troy and Laura at Baker Drinks, and I'm just going to, when somebody wins, I'm going to remove them until everybody eventually wins samples. But tonight it's the new Bullet Bottled in Bond. I don't know what the availability is this, but I've heard it's limited. A 3-chord Pinot Noir, because that's kind of limited availability too, I think. And then I've got the Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry Proof. So 2-ounce samples of each of these if you guys are interested. If not, it's going out to the Patreon. So let's take a look at this one comment here. This wasn't necessarily a negative comment, but when I put it into the context, you'll see why I chose to share this one. This was in response to Greg's and my very first video. It was our top 5 bourbons for beginners. Okay? And we didn't include Wild Turkey 101 or any Bottled in Bond products. So this guy just put To rule out bottle and bond in 101 is nonsense, a list for children. And so I'd like to share a clip from that video.
Okay.
And here is the clip from 1 minute, 26 seconds into the video. So we did some parameters, some caveats. We kept it under 100 proof since it's for more of a beginner.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
it was
Ben,
one of the first things we said in the video.
One of your commenters is in the chat, brother. Look, Jason Young.
Oh yeah, okay, Jason. Jason, you will notice I blocked out your name on these. Let's see. Hold on a second. Haha, that was my post about the low proof Jim Beam rolled oats bottles. Fair response. I do enjoy high proof, but some low proofs are good too. No hate towards you or the channel. So, and no, that's cool, Jason. I totally. I said at the beginning. I don't know if you hopped into the chat just recently, but I did make sure so nobody comes and floods me with negative comments for reading negative comments. But I did say this is all in good fun. This is nothing personal, and that's why I blocked everyone's names out.
And just as a reminder, to everyone, if you start throwing shit, you might get some shit thrown back at you.
Well, and that's what I said. I said at the very beginning when I said, this is just meant to be in good fun. This is not a personal thing. I'm not mad about any of these comments. But I said, I put my content out here publicly. I open up the comments because you can shut comments off. I don't do that.
No.
So I'm open to this. But when you make a comment publicly, then you're open to, I might call you out on a live stream.
There you go.
And it ends up giving me some content because otherwise they'd be sitting here, probably shitting on another 90 proof bourbon, and Troy would get all upset about it. Or Jason, I'm sorry, not Troy, Jason.
Troy.
That was a joke. But Jason, I am with you on the rolled oat. I would at $16, I would buy a bunch of those. I found that the other two at the 90 proof 11 years were good, but the rolled oat was weak. I don't know what it is about the rolled oat. And I think it was because when they did the Basil Hayden, whichever one of those had, was it the toasted one that they had the oat in? And that one, they said it's for a smoother profile, which is weird to me that somebody drank Basil Hayden's and said that needs to be smoothed out a little bit. But
yeah.
So I wonder if the oat brings out like a smoother profile or something.
You know what? There was another brand that had a it's, you know what? It's this one right here. This Spirits of French Lick, the 4-grain Lee Sinclair 4-grain bourbon. It's corn, wheat, oats, and barley. And on their website, they were like, it gives it like a smoother and like creamier mouthfeel. It does not. I'm here to tell you it does not.
That's what she said.
I'm a little late on that, but you said smooth, creamy mouthfeel.
Oh, Jason lives less than a mile from Woodinville. I apologize for your circumference.
Jason, I want to say, I didn't talk shit about Jim Beam rolled oat, or I didn't talk shit about Woodinville. I'm the only one of the three who didn't. So, just saying.
All right, Jason, go subscribe to Bourbon School.
we can have long conversations about my hatred for Woodinville.
Also, Brian.
Based on Jason's comment, it sounds like he would be really into your bourbons for beginners.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I mean, it was all under 100 proof. Shots fired, Sean.
You vicious bastard!
Here's Jason. Love you, buddy. I've never met you before, but I'm sure you're good people.
Yeah. No, it's fun. You know what? I was actually kind of hoping that at least somebody, because Jason, I don't know if you were here earlier when I had said that this comment was only from a couple weeks ago, so I was like, maybe he's here watching. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he likes the channel or not, but let's see. Hangin' AZ said we got to do a flashback video with some classic Greg moments. Agreed. I am working on changing some audio parameters on here so I can more easily share video clips. As of right now, I can share a video clip if I stream it directly from my desktop. And it'll play it no matter how big the video size is. It'll just compress it. But when I do that using my current audio setup, it causes an echo. And so I'm trying to figure that out. When I'm up to StreamYard, I can do that, but you can only put up a file of a certain size. So, and it says Greg was one of the best. Greg was one of the 2 best hosts who ever appeared on the Bourbon Note. I think Greg was both the first and second best host on the Bourbon Note. In my humble opinion.
I'm certain you still
remember second place is first loser.
Greg's still your neighbor, right? He hasn't moved or anything?
Yes, he is still my neighbor, but it's been winter in Minnesota. In winter, you only see your neighbors when you're out clearing the driveway.
Okay.
So if we're not out snow blowing at the same time, I haven't seen him in months.
Well,
so Jason says, yes, nothing personal and all responses are deserved. Been watching and following you all for years. We share similar opinions and politics. Seriously, no hate here, fellas.
Cheers,
well, he
brother.
must watch the Whiskey 6 if he's getting a late, well, I don't know, maybe he watches Sean for politics.
My politics are simple. I hate the government.
Yeah, there you go.
Did I mention I went and got my taxes done today? I'm with you, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you need a cash strength banger tonight, I think.
To quote the great Ron Swanson, income taxes are illegal.
Yes.
Yeah, he said earlier he's feeling channeling his inner Ron Swanson.
That's right. I have the Pyramid of Excellence right here on the wall. The Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness right there on the wall.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let me clear up some.
What are you fellas drinking? We haven't really shared a pour.
I poured.
I just had a couple pours of the Bullet Bottled and Bond.
I poured some Heart Release tonight.
That I also don't have that, so I'll just. The closest thing I do have to either one of those is a Maker's, and they're
Pick?
As Chris said, they're all basically the same.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Let's do a little bit of Jason's pick. The Blind Speaks.
All right. That Bottled and Bond. I did a little hunting video at my local shop, and that Bottled and Bond bullet just came in. And Ben, you were like the 3rd or 4th review I saw that said that it was pretty decent. So I think I'm going to go grab it this weekend.
Yeah, I think it was, especially for being their first distillate, of their own. I think it's really good, and I think everybody's kind of had a favorable opinion of it, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Ryan Frank says my first grade teacher swatted my right forehand one day, and shortly after I became the second best reader in my grade. Be thankful someone gave you the gift of criticism, and they gave a shiny new tool. Did you mean forehead or forehand, Ryan Frank? Jay Henry. You know what, Biking Bourbon? I've only had one expression from Jay Henry. It was years ago when we first started the channel. It's a Wisconsin distillery. We were pleasantly surprised by that one. I've always meant to get some more of those.
I've heard that's another one that I've heard nothing but good reviews of, Jay Henry.
Oh, Jason says, throwing shade at Troy. I've seen Troy at local events here in Washington State. Good dude. All right, I'm going to send a text to Troy. Next time you see Jason.
Yeah, give him a bag of shit. No. We did the...
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you're in the chat here, Jason. That's fun.
We did the trash pallet on Friday. It was so much fun. We had an absolute freaking blast.
Also, Piper John, I'm sorry you're still in Florida. I left that place, but I do appreciate the no income tax, or state income tax, I should say.
Yeah,
well, Troy and Laura have it good because they live in southern Washington State, so they live in a state with no income tax, but they can drive across the border and buy liquor with no state liquor tax. Because otherwise, if you buy it in Washington, it's like a 24% tax or something.
Yeah,
that being said, Washington is one of my absolute favorite places to travel to. I love it out there.
I
absolutely love
think we are thinking about Tennessee for retirement. There's no tax on anything in Tennessee.
Yeah, I gotta. My wife and I both have pensions, so it'd be nice to retire someplace to where there's no pension.
Right. Exactly. So, and then when you start getting Social Security, they don't tax that either. So that's one of the targets.
So
we should start our own government.
Something to think about. Yeah, start our own government. I
What's
like
the
that.
tax
We'll go buy an island somewhere.
Let's get into taxes and finance, guys, because this is a great thing to talk about on Ben's stream. What's the tax situation in Kentucky? What's the tax situation in Kentucky, Sean?
It's pretty standard. I think it's like 7%. kind of like there's most states are around that.
And you have state income tax as well?
Yeah. But so here's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, you have state income tax. But property taxes are incredibly low here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in fact, I couldn't even tell you what my property tax is because it's so little that I don't even think about it. I think it might be like $400 a year. Something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have roughly an acre of land.
I do not have an acre of land, and mine literally are more than that a month.
Oh, my mortgage is only $478. It's a house.
Lord.
It's not a trailer.
I don't even want to tell you what our property taxes are for a yard. It's not even a quarter acre, and on top of all the other taxes we pay in New York State, our property taxes are sick.
So that's the thing is, like, everybody gives, like, anytime I bring up like freedom and shit, people are like, oh well, yeah, but Kentucky has state income tax, which but our property taxes are like stupid low.
Wow.
Like, they're almost nothing.
Ryan,
that's ridiculous. In Minnesota, we've got property taxes, we have a state income tax, and we have a state sales tax on everything except for food and clothing. And then we have we end up having like a $9 billion surplus.
Okay.
It's like, well,
wow.
I think maybe you think you're taxing us enough here. Ryan Frank, what inspires your next day? Me, like my general, what inspires my next day is I always just, because I see my wife every day, so I just always look forward to that. I look forward to getting home from work to seeing my wife. And I'm not just saying that, like, she's not over here with a gun. That's legitimately what I look forward to. And then everything else is, the rest of the family, but I don't see them all, I don't see them all every day, but, so that would be my everyday thing.
I'm with you on that. I would say my family, I'm lucky enough. My kids are still here. My daughter's going away to college next year, but like they're all still here. And that's the same for me. Like, everything I do is for this group of people in this house. So
there you go.
Yep. Well, speaking of that, my daughter is actually going to be here fairly soon to pick the dog up. I don't know if she'll have my granddaughter in tow, but I should probably get this going with the raffle. So Patreon supporters, if you want to check out the Patreon, just go search the Bourbon Note on Patreon. Let me share the screen here.
Before you do that, I'm going to jump off. I got a buddy coming. He's actually dropping off a couple of bottles for me that he picked up for me. So I'm going to take off. Good seeing you guys. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
All right. Take it easy, brother.
Take care, guys.
Orlando in the house. What's up, man?
Who's in the house?
Mr. Mom. Orlando.
Oh, Gordon Murphy, Mr. Mom. Got a few people hopping on here. All right. Let me add this to the stage here. Again, this is for the people who haven't won samples yet. I can't remember if Bobby's won samples yet. I don't think so. It's the only one I couldn't remember. Now watch, Bobby will win and everybody will say rigged.
Are there blanks
All right,
on the wheel?
I don't know. I might have had some blank spots in here. I know there's no blank spots. Steve Joes. All right, Steve Joes, congratulations. Samples headed your way. I'll send you a message if you're not watching on Patreon. So let's remove that bad boy. Let's see. Mr. Mom says, cheers, Sean.
Yeah, man. Cheers, Orlando.
So, all right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys all so much for attending tonight. We had pretty good attendance here in the live stream. So this was awesome. Sean, thank you for hopping on. It makes it a lot easier when guests come on, and then I'm not just blabbing here and boring the shit out of everybody. So then we can bore the shit out of people together.
Indeed, that is the goal.
And speaking of which, the Whiskey 6 next week, at the Whiskey 6. If you go on YouTube and just search at the Whiskey 6, I'll throw this up here real quick. Right there. Go search for that on YouTube. I don't know. Do we have our next week's guest fully locked down?
So someone said, do you have Conrad's email? I don't know who Conrad is, though. So.
Okay.
But we do.
Well,
we
we'll
have
get it figured out.
Yeah, if Brian,
there will be a guest,
yeah.
And it'll be me, Sean, Bourbon School, Bourbon Drop, and Bad Axe Bourbon. So come on over, check out the Whiskey Six. Here, Sid, come. You want to come sign off? Come here, bud. Say goodnight.
And whoever Conrad may be.
Sid says goodnight.
Doggy, the doggy.
Yeah, so my daughter's coming to pick him up, so I should get him all ready to go. So, all right, well, cheers, everybody. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you on the next one.
Have a good night.